Tell me about the certifications or designations you have and why you got those particular ones.
Well, let me look at my wall. Oh, it's not up. Let's see. I have
Now you have a certified new home specialist.
certified new home specialist, and the residential remodeling specialist.
Yeah.
And I also have a short sale foreclosure.
So let's talk certified new home specialist and residential remodel specialist because those are part of the same.
Umbrella. Yeah.
They're part of the same package of certifications. There's a third one that you're hoping to get, but I know you got those two in particular because of the knowledge and resources they were going to give you. So, let's talk about those and why that was important to you.
Well, one of the reasons is so I do know a lot about construction just from a outsider looking in kind of thing, and because of working on our own homes over the years. But I often and still do with these certifications get words a little mixed up. Rafters, trusses. Yeah, sometimes I still get those a little mixed up. But knowing and learning what the different words are, or like what different roof designs are and what they're called, like a gable, things like that. I felt was something that I really wanted to know. I wanted to be more confident in being able to, talking with the client, be like, let's look at the internals of that and see how it looks, and is it well constructed.
Right.
And not only that, like for example, we had a listing recently that had ICF construction. ICF stands for insulated concrete forms. And basically what they do is they take basically like the foam that you can buy, like, not that they do this, but you can buy at Home Depot, Lowe's, those little foam you might see sometimes, like, is stuck on the outside of buildings. So those foam, and they make a form out of it, and they pour concrete in it, and they leave that insulated foam onto the concrete, and so it's all one thing. So you got the foam, you got the concrete, you got the foam, and they built it like that, almost like Legos, although it's not pieced together. They build that whole form and then they pour it all in. And so it's all one piece at one time. So you got the insulation, the concrete, the insulation. So it's double insulation. So being able to know that for something like our listing that we had in Brookstone, and be able to say, this is ICF construction and this is why it matters. And this is why this is a superior product over, say, a stick built with 2x6 construction. Right. So I think that makes a big difference, and why it brings value to your buyer or even your seller to be able to say, yeah, we need to market this.
So a lot of those certifications in particular was about the knowledge and the terminology to be able to have the conversations with and for your clients about their properties.
Yeah.
Nice.
Yeah, like we were talking with someone once, and the guy goes, we were showing him a live video, and he goes, oh, that's 2x4 construction. And I chimed in and I said, no, that's 2x6. That's what it is. It is 2x6. And and so being able to know and see it, and not just be like, oh sure, it's 2x4, and to be able to, without a doubt, be able to say how it is constructed and have knowledge on that, and to know that it's done well, right, or maybe not done well.
Right. So I know one of the certifications I did that I really enjoyed was actually a certification that was a culmination of other certifications, and that's the GRI, or the Graduate Realtor Institute. And it basically takes classes you've done and gives you credit for those, and then it has other classes that are part of that sequence that you do. But it essentially says, overall, I am a student of real estate. I am a student of these things, and I've done all these trainings and all these classes to understand the industry to be able to best serve you as your agent. And that to me was nice because it was like, okay, I've got this certification and that certification, this certification, but I've got this one that says I have all these.
Yeah.
And just to be able to have that, so that one was real important to me. I know we have an agent in our office right now who's working on theirs and going through it, and I was pretty excited when they talked to me about it because it is one of those things that kind of can set you apart. And for this particular agent, to see him motivated to do that was encouraging and everything.
Now, with your GRI certification, did you not only have to have like take these sort of classes, but have benchmarks in sales, or
No
or
benchmarks
years
in
of
sales or
experience?
no experience, things like that. It's about the classes and trainings you've done.
Okay.
So some certifications do have benchmark and sale. Like I know you and I both have the ABR, and
Yeah.
the ABR, in order to get that, you can go through the class. But in order to get the certification and have that ABR designation, you have to have 5 transactions where you have represented a buyer because
Yeah.
it's an accredited buyer representative. So in order to get it, you have to show I have represented a buyer 5 times in a transaction.
Yeah.
So there are ones that you're doing that do require that specification on there. So
Yeah. And those are kind of interesting, like because some of the commercial ones also require that too. So many commercial transactions before
yeah,
you can
and
have
essentially
it. And the seller's one, I believe, is also that way.
the seller's that way. The commercial one, I had a conversation with another agent in our market here about a month ago about the commercial designation, and it's one of those. The commercial thing is one of those things. They essentially don't want to give you the thing to where you can promote yourself as a commercial agent until you can prove that you are a commercial agent.
Yeah.
It's not just about doing the class. It's about having the transactions, having the portfolio of business that supports it, which it's one of those catch-22 things. You want to get the designation so you can do more in commercial, but you can't do more in commercial until you seemingly have the designation. But, with a lot of these, the training and the knowledge you get is a lot of times more for your own confidence, your own ability to know that you know the stuff. Because very rarely does a client look at that and say, "Oh, you got this class. I know you know your stuff."
Yeah.
It does happen, but I would say for the most part, it's more about you being confident that you know what you know, and you've gone through training to be an expert in that area.
Well, and I would agree with the short sale foreclosure. A lot of people don't, see the SFR and don't know what that is.
Right.
But I know for me, and you have that certification as well, I have that because, while I knew about short sales, I knew about foreclosure, lived foreclosure, I wanted to be able to say without a shadow of a doubt, I know my stuff on it.
Right.
And I could say I am certified in that.
Yes.
And it has come up time and time again, people needing expertise and wisdom on that. And that's, I think, invaluable to be able to say, yeah, I know about that. I totally know
Right.
about that. So
Yeah. And it's interesting. There are any number of trainings and topics and certifications and designations out there depending on what you want to specialize in. And I know one of the things we've encouraged our agents to do is find something that speaks to you. Find something that you can be passionate about and seek those out. So that we have, just like the variety of properties we work with, we have a variety of designations and certifications represented in our office and everything. And if we don't have some represented, we put it out to our agents and say, hey, this is one that we don't have people trained in. Would anybody be interested in that?
Yeah.
And we did do that last year. We had military relocation professional was not something we had somebody in our office that was focused on. And one of our agents went through that training last year and got that. And we have 2 other agents now that have also expressed interest in going that route. So, sometimes that happens and somebody sees one agent going through it and they're like, oh, I'm interested in that. Maybe I'll do that too. And it just makes us stronger and makes us better equipped to serve our clients.
yeah, well, you mentioned about doing trainings about something that you're interested in, and I have the social media, I don't remember, certification specialist designation all the words get me confused, but yeah, the social media training, and and that was something that I was really interested in, and so I went through the class for that.
And I went through the class on that too, but I went through it 4 years ago now, 5 years
It's been a
ago.
while.
So a lot of what they trained on then
It's
has
not-
changed so much, it's not even close to what we do anymore. So you have to think about that too. With some of the classes you do, the information can be a little timeless and it can last for a while. Others, it may only be relevant for a year or two, maybe even 6 months, depending on how timely the information is, and then you want to just keep going with that. So
Yeah.
I think that's an important aspect to think about when you do any of these trainings. Don't think it's a one and done thing that you never have to do any more training or education, because our industry is always changing.
Yeah.
They do forms training multiple times throughout the year, every year, because there's updates to forms. There's things going on and changes on how we fill it out, how you answer questions, and you need to always be looking for ways to make yourself a more equipped professional in our industry.
Yeah, well, I think I told you a couple years ago I wanted to become a CRS, have a CRS designation, and I believe it stands for something residential.
Certified residential specialist.
There you go, certified residential specialist. But the interesting thing about that particular designation is you have to have so much sales,
Yep.
so many years, and so much training. And not only that, but every year you have to do more training. You
Yep.
have to have so many.
Yeah, you have to qualify.
Classes,
You have to
and it's an
pre-qualify before
ongoing-
you can even start the program.
Yeah, it's a pretty lofty goal.
And I will say this, we talk about sometimes the clients don't look at those things, don't do that, but it makes you better equipped and better trained. The more designations, certifications you have, the more you are likely to make as a real estate agent, because you're better equipped to serve more clients.
Yes.
So there's value in them. There's value in seeking that training, just like there's value in any education. But again, it all comes down to making us better equipped professionals to do our job.
And this makes me think of something, which is we talked previously about collaboration over competition. And one of our benchmarks, one of our pillars of our office is a culture of learning, a culture of loving to learn.
Yep.
And I think those certifications, designation, even if it's just CE, continuing education classes, or just on your own, reading books, watching podcasts, YouTube videos, that kind of stuff. Having a culture in your DNA of learning, of loving to learn, is so crucial.
Yes.
I think as a real estate agent.
Yep.